We're doing Python programming. That's my website, and this is where you can find these videos. Now, this is still a continuation of list. However, we're going to introduce a method. Ooh, excuse me about a method. So remember a method called append. Append. Let's say one here. Okay, so what this is going to do here, this is our list of data points. And what the append is going to do, it's going to, no wait a minute, not append. What? Sorry. It's count. We've already talked about append. It's actually count. I don't know where I got that. Yeah. I wrote it down as append, I'm not sure. Okay, so what this is going to do, it's going to look at our data set, which is in a list, and then it's going to count all of the ones. See, it will count all of the ones, so it's really that simple. And so we're going to use a loop where we go through and count the ones, and then we're going to store it in the frequency list, and then we're going to go through count the twos, and then count the threes, and count the fours, and so forth. So we're going to do that. But before we do that, actually, let's just bring this up here. Okay, so we've been in our input statement here, we've been asked how many data points are we going to be getting. And so for example, let's say for example we were at the mall and we were randomly selecting people, and we were asking them, what is your favorite number between 1 and 5 inclusively? Okay, and we would write down. So we would go through and write down 1 and 3 and 5 and then count the frequencies just like we're doing here. Okay, so they call that a random variable. Okay, the random variable. But anyway, we'll get into that later. Alright, so this is the part right here. This part. Do you see this? All of this? This is the part that we are going to rewrite. We're going to rewrite this. I really wanted to go the long way around on this, showing you how to use while statements, right? Nested while statements, they call this. But we're going to actually be doing it another way. And so we're still going to use C of 1, but I think we're going to start at 0 this time. And then let's see. We're going to be going here, and you know what, let me just go ahead and erase. We'll keep that part there. Okay, so we want to put the cursor there and then just hit enter. Alright, so we're going to count. C1 is equal to C1 plus 1. Now remember, I told you that there's another way of doing this, and you could just write it like that if you want. However, I like doing it like that. Okay, doesn't matter. Alright, and then F is equal to, and we're going to let F be, I don't know, this is going to be the frequency here. Data dot count, and we're going to count. Right, we're going to count, for example, if C1 is 0 here, of course C1 will be 0 plus 1, so C1 will actually be 1 here. So what this is asking us to do here is we want to count in the list where all our data is held. We want to count how many times 1 is in that list, and then we'll assign that number to F here. And then once we do that, we're going to go to the frequency list and append. In other words, we're gonna put that inside the frequency list. Okay, inside the frequency list, and I can see right here that we can't have that up there because there won't be anything in it. All right, and okay, so this thing is going to loop through. Okay, so we're going to come up here and see C1 is actually 1. Alright, and we're going to count the number of ones. We're going to take that and append it. In other words, we're going to put it inside of the frequency list. Alright, and then we're going to go back up. So C1, so this would be 1 is less than 5, and now C1 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2, so C1 is now 2. See, that is now 2, and then so we put 2 in here, and this method here is going to count all of the 2's that are in our data, and then take that number, and then it's going to insert it from the right, actually, in the list. Okay, and then it's going to continue to do this until we get to, and what's going to happen is, so when this becomes 4 right here, when C1 is 4, this will be 4 plus 1 is actually 5, which will actually be our last one, and then we'll get this, right? How many times does 5 occur in the data set? We'll take that number, put it in here, and so now we're at 5. Yeah, C1's 5, and then we come up here, and then of course 5 is not less than 5, and so then it will break, and then it will stop. Alright, and then what it'll do now is we'll be printing out that frequency list, and we're going to use this same script that we used in the previous problem. Okay, we're not going to change any of this. So let's run this thing. Let's see what happens here. Okay, let's run it. Alright, how many data points? Of course, they're not completely on the screen here. Alright. Okay, so we'll just say that we have collected in them all. We've asked 10 people. It was just a random selection. We asked 10 people. And let's look at this here. Okay, we asked 10 people. So the first person said 1 was their favorite number. The second person 4. Third person 2, and so forth, and then of course we put it in a list. You should already know what's going on with that. Now, here was the part where we rewrote that, introducing the count method for the list variable, right? The count method, and so it's going to go through. Now let's just check this out, make sure everything's good. So 1 is occurring twice. Let's count. 1, 2, looks good. 2 is occurring 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks good. And was this 1, 2, 3 is occurring twice. 1, 2, and then 4 once and 5 once. Okay, and so let's look at this. And so we've got 1, right? This would be 2, and then 2 is 4, 3 is 2, and then so forth. And we got the percentages written out. Okay, so back in 9A or 8A, whatever it was, anyway, you know, the whole magic to this script was instead of choosing a range between 1 and 5, let's say we wanted to go with a range between 1 and 100, right? So let's go back up here. I'm about to sneeze. Okay, sorry about that. I can't pause the video. Well, I guess I could have paused, but I don't take any chances. Alright, we got to hurry up here. I'm running out of time. So let's say we're going to do 20. Okay, 1 to 20. Now we'll have to go through here, and you can tweak this out so where you don't have to do this. Alright, 1 to 20. Okay, I think those are the only 2 places that we need to do that. So let's run before we run out of time. How many data points? 10. Okay. Right. So yeah. Anyway. Okay, so 15 is occurring 1, or let's see, 1 is occurring 0 times. Or what's going on here? Okay, that should be going to darn it. We're gonna have to do another video, I guess. That should be going to 20 here.